Hey folks, this is just a quick heads up and an apology to say that there isn't a regular episode of Spooky History going out this week. We're really super sorry. This is Friday. The episode should have gone out yesterday, Thursday. We had hoped to get it out today, but various other things have kind of got in the way. Those of us who are involved in running Spooky History are also involved in many other projects, including the Edinburgh Horror Festival, and the programme for that has launched this week, so we have been really quite busy with that. We're doing a Spooky History live stream as part of it. I'm doing a live magic stream, but we will be back to normal next week with regular Spooky History episodes. We're doing an episode on Edward Mordrake next week, and we've got all the episodes for the rest of the year filmed, and we just need to get them edited. So we are super duper sorry there isn't a regular episode this week, but to make up for that, here is a video that went out on my personal channel, The Magic and Macabre World of Ash Price. And this is looking at grave robbing legends. We thought it'd be something that would be spooky history adjacent, something you might enjoy and like. So we are super duper sorry there isn't a regular episode. Take care, and we will see you next Thursday. The graveyards of Edinburgh are long associated with stories of ghosts and ghouls, thanks primarily to the ghost tour trade. Stories around the cemeteries tend to focus on spooks, on spectres, on spirit entities coming forth, but there are far more terrifying things that can occur in cemeteries. I speak, of course, of being buried alive. Now, throughout most of history, you couldn't donate your body to medical science, and Edinburgh has a hub of activity as far as medical research goes. A lot of medical students have been here over the years, but they, for a long time, couldn't operate frequently on bodies because they just didn't have enough. They needed around 300 to 500 bodies a year to teach the students, but the universities were only getting around 50 bodies a year from those of executed criminals. So they had to try and find a way to make up the shortfall. That's where the resurrection men came in, or the grave robbers to you and me. They would sneak into graveyards in the dead of night, dig up the recently deceased and sell the bodies to the university for the equivalent of about a year's wage. The university staff would ask no questions. One story about the resurrection men involves climbing into a cemetery in the dead of night, shovels over their shoulder, digging up the remains of a recently deceased wealthy widow. When they opened the coffin, they discovered that she was covered in gems and jewels. Now, if you were caught stealing a body, that was heavily frowned upon, but you probably wouldn't be executed for it. But stealing items from the body, that's a hanging offence. But the amount of money you could make, some people felt it was worth the risk. So these resurrection men started removing the gems and jewels from the dead woman, but the rings were stuck. Not a problem, she's dead, and even if the body's damaged, they'll get less money from the university, but they can make up for it with the jewels. So they start hacking through the fingers, and the fingers twitch. They continue, thinking it's just a muscle reaction, and then the fingers begin to twitch even more. At which point the old lady sits up with a blood-curdling scream. She had been buried alive. The resurrection men flee the cemetery in mortal terror. Now, being buried alive is something that has scared humankind since its inception almost. Lots of ideas throughout history have come about to try and get around this whole idea of being buried alive. The most popular one was the idea of a bell attached to the gravestone going down into the coffin attached to a finger. There's not actually any evidence that this ever occurred, but the blueprints were drawn up. The idea that the phrase dead ringers or saved by the bell comes from this is not true. Saved by the bell is in fact a boxing term, and dead ringer is a racing term. Whether or not this story is true, it's deeply unsettling and disturbing because we know for a fact that people have, in fact, been buried alive throughout history, and that is one of the most terrifying things associated with cemeteries.